This right here is my 1985 Dodge Mini Ram van that I got for $1,000 a few months back. Now for a car that's this old, you might think that there's probably a few issues with it, and yes, you'd definitely be right. So today, let's talk about everything that's wrong with this beautiful gold, bronze, slightly dirty Dodge van from the 80s. Now you might be wondering, why would I buy a 40-year-old minivan from the 80s? I don't really have a good reason for that. I've kind of been known to make dumb decisions in regards to buying cars. I don't know if this was a dumb decision yet, but all signs point to yes. But we'll talk about that today. We'll talk about all the things that are wrong with it. But I ended up with this thing because I saw it in my neighbor's driveway for weeks and weeks, and I just sort of assumed he was gonna junk the thing, and I was right. He was planning on donating it, which oftentimes leads to these things getting crushed. So I made him an offer, $1,000, he said yes, and now this van is sitting in my yard instead of his, which is maybe not the best idea because this thing likes to stall. We'll talk about that in a second. So I don't really have a need for a minivan that's this old, especially one that has a few issues, but I couldn't bear to see this thing getting junked or meeting its fate at the jaws of the crusher. And I have no experience with these vans. I know absolutely nothing about them other than what I've read online. So yeah, I'm probably not the most qualified person to take on this project, but I think we'll learn a few things in the process. But I'm hoping it'll be fun to experience this boxy, angular piece of machinery from the mid-80s. I mean, the Dodge Caravan and Plymouth Voyager twins were a pretty big deal when they were introduced for the 84 model year. Most people don't really know about the Mini Ram van, but it's essentially a Caravan minus a lot of interior bits. But surprisingly, this one has quite a few options that are often not seen on Mini Ram vans. Maybe that's because it's the Royal trim. All right, now for the part that I'm not really looking forward to, documenting every single last thing that's wrong with this car. I don't know if I'm gonna fix everything, but at least it'll be documented so I know what I'm dealing with here. All right, let's go. Let's start with the exterior. We'll start right here in the front. It is missing the hood ornament, though I have a friend that is going to be sending me one, so hopefully I can get that replaced. There's a couple marks here and there that I'm wondering if I can clean up and remove. But generally speaking, the front is in pretty good shape. The body is in great shape. There's a couple scratches here and there on the bumper, but that's really it. No cracks in the grille. There's a little scrape right there and a little tiny baby dent there, but not a big deal. Needs new wipers, not a big deal. Yeah, overall, the front of this thing looks pretty decent. Okay, somebody put a screw right there in the mirror. I wonder if I can find a replacement mirror. Yeah, that's a little messed up. Well, let's see if I can maybe find a replacement. I'm not sure. All right, moving on to the side, once again, in pretty good shape, aside from, you know, a few scratches that you'd expect to occur on a 40-year-old van that probably got used for work. A little bit dirty around the window, but that's about it. I think we probably do need to talk about these tires. Now, these tires on the surface look pretty decent. There's actually no cracking in them. The tread looks good, but then you look at the logo, you're like, that looks kind of old. And you look at the date code, and the date code, let's see, the 26th week of the year 2000. So these tires are 26 years old. So I don't think I'm gonna be driving on these very much. Wheels are in okay shape. It is missing the center cap. If anybody knows exactly where I can find replacement center caps for these wheels, that would be great. I would like to try to find that. Now, a lot of people have mentioned that they find it kind of odd that I only have 4 lug wheels on an 85 Dodge van. Apparently, from what I've read on the interwebs, that early 85 sometimes had 4 lug wheels and they switched over to 5. So this maybe is an early 85. It doesn't really matter. A lot of people were confused why this only has 4 lugs as opposed to 5. But you know, even the trim is in decent shape. Let's keep moving down here a little bit, see what else we've got. Again, old tires probably need to be replaced. All right, moving on to the back. Obviously, we need to replace this. The previous owner scraped up the side there and just kind of repaired this with a little duct tape. I was a little bit worried that I wasn't going to be able to find a replacement light here, but you know what? Go on eBay and they're just readily available. They made so many Caravans and Voyagers throughout the years that these are easy to find and they're cheap. So yeah, I'll peel off all this tape and put in some new taillights. Okay, we need windshield wipers. Well, the back looks okay. There's a little dent right here, not so bad. But the glass looks good. The trim around the glass looks fine. The roof looks good. This whole side panel looks excellent. So considering that this vehicle is over 40 years old, and for many of those years it got used as an actual work van, I'd say it's in pretty good shape. Yeah, the paint is a little faded, but I kind of like the patina. All right, moving on to this beautiful interior. I just love looking at this. So much tan, so much brown, so much fake wood trim. It is just very 80s, very boxy, very angular. I love it. But you know, take a closer look, you start to see the things that are wrong with it. Actually, not much wrong in the interior here. You know, starting on the door panels in really good shape, no rips, no tears, just dirty. All I gotta do is clean that up a little bit. I'd say maybe the grossest thing in here are the seat belts. I don't really know how easy it would be to clean those. I'm gonna look into that. If you have any ideas, if you have any experience cleaning seat belts, getting, you know, 40 years of grease and disgustingness off of seat belts, let me know. All this plastic trim is intact. The headliner's in good shape. Look at the wood trim on these lights. That's pretty fancy. They actually still work. It's nice. No cracks in the dashboard, hooray! It is a little bit dirty. Check this aftermarket cup holder that was added there. I'm gonna leave that there because if I take it out, it would expose some screw holes there, so we're just gonna leave that. Yeah, everything up here is in pretty good shape, just a little dirty. It even has air conditioning, which I've heard is a kind of rare feature for a mini Ram van. Check out a little drawer there with some of the previous owner's stuff. I think this has like a list of, oh yeah, look at this. Previous owner gave a list of all of the work that he had done all the way back to 1993. I think that's when he bought it. That's pretty cool. And right down here, as you can see, it's missing the factory radio. I wonder if I can find a replacement. Unfortunately, it looks like there's a couple batteries in there that have leaked, which is wonderful. I'll have to clean that up. The one thing that's pretty surprising for me is that these seats are in really excellent shape. No rips. They're actually relatively clean. This one still has the armrest. This one's missing the armrest, but even the plastic down there is not cracked. Considering this was used as a work van, I'm quite surprised. Now, obviously a lot of stuff needs to get vacuumed out of here. Maybe I should get some new floor mats, really try to clean up this kind of gross carpet. But once again, pretty impressed with how this is looking. You know, all the gauges work, even that gigantic fuel gauge. Chrysler loved to do that in the 80s, give you a huge fuel gauge. Now let's make our way into the back of this van. You can take a peek around here. So much room for activities. Once again, carpet's pretty gross, but that's to be expected. I think it's kind of funny that there actually is even carpet in a cargo van. That's pretty funny to me. But then just a few little things I need to clean up, like random duct tape attached to things. Yeah, I don't really know why that's there. Anyway, a vacuum, a clean of this carpet, I think it would be as good as it can get. I feel like there's not a whole lot of sense in trying to refresh the interior of a cargo van. I feel like this just shows that it's been used for its intended purpose. The lights back there still work. I wonder if there's actually any speakers in here, but it doesn't matter because I have no stereo at the moment. That light still works. The sliding door still opens. It is very hard to open. Just needs some grease, I think. Even the plastic trim around the sliding door is in good condition. All right, now on to the subject that I don't really want to talk about is how this Dodge Mini Ram van runs. When it's running, it actually runs beautifully, but the thing is, it likes to stop running, like a lot. So, starts right up. I mean, right away, starts right up. If I let my foot off the gas, actually this is running a lot longer than it did last time. Oh, there we go, stalls. Oh, it's, yep. Thought I was gonna hold on there for a second, but it stalled again. So let's take a look under the hood and we can see what's going on. Now, I'm not a great mechanic, so I won't be able to tell you exactly what's going on, but I'm pretty sure I know what the culprit is. Let's go. All right, it's a windy day today. This is a pretty flippity floppity hood. Hopefully that doesn't come crashing down on me as we're talking about this. Now, generally speaking, everything under the hood looks like it's in pretty good shape. Obviously, the previous owner took good care of this thing, maintained it, and I believe they stopped driving it because it could not pass smog. And the reason why it could not pass the emissions test is because of this pesky little carburetor right here. Yes, this thing is carbureted. This Mitsubishi motor, the 2.6, wasn't exactly known for its ability to stay running for extended periods of time. Lots of people have issues with this engine and this carburetor stalling. In fact, my grandmother had an 84 Dodge Aries that had the same engine. It was like the upgraded engine, like the, like the fancy one, and her Aries stalled all the time. Mechanics could never figure out what was going on with it, could never fix it. It was just the way it was. So we have that issue here. So I live in California, and generally speaking, I'm a big fan of the smog rules that they have here because if you saw what the air quality was like in Los Angeles in the 70s, you would definitely be in favor of smog laws as well. However, I will say for a vehicle like this that I'm driving, a couple hundred miles a year, I feel like these should be exempt. I did not buy this as a long-term vehicle. You know, I bought this to save it from the crusher. I bought this so it wouldn't get junked. Like I said, I don't really have a need for an old minivan, but I figure what I can do is get the thing running again, get the thing to not stall, get the thing cleaned up, and then, you know, hopefully sell it to somebody that really appreciates these Dodge minivans from the 80s. So based on people that I've talked to so far and the research that I've done online about this particular engine and carburetor, I really don't have any confidence that I'm going to be able to get it to a position where it can pass California emissions. I mean, it might be fun to just bring it to a smog shop and try, but I don't really know if I want to go to all that trouble, especially if it's going to get sold to somebody in a state where the emissions laws aren't as strict. I guess I just got to sort of figure out what I want to do. Do I try to buy a rebuild kit for this carburetor and just bring it to a smog shop and cross my fingers? Or apparently the other option for this vehicle is that there's a Weber carb that can fit this engine, throw that on there and it'll run great, as far as I know. If you know more information than I do about this, please let me know. Again, I'm not an expert on these vehicles. I'm just learning this as I go. And I'm also a terrible mechanic. So don't be watching this channel because you want to learn something about fixing cars. That'd be a really bad idea. So anyway, it doesn't really seem like much else under here needs to be replaced. You know, the hoses are probably a little bit old, but there's no cracks. All the vacuum lines look fine. The battery is from 2016, but it still starts the car just fine. It still cranks, no issues there. Just a little bit dirty under here. And honestly, I feel like 2016 might have been the last time that the previous owner drove this van regularly. So it probably needs an oil change, but we'll get to that in a bit. All right, so what do you think I should do to get this thing running better? I'm kind of leaning towards the Weber carb and just selling it to somebody outside of the state. I don't know though, there is something about the challenge of trying to get this thing to pass smog in California that sounds, you know, in a masochistic way, slightly alluring. We'll see. Let me know what you do. I honestly almost forgot to tell you about one of the most annoying problems with this vehicle is the fact that the struts for this liftgate are completely dead. This thing weighs about 1,000 pounds. So I have a bad shoulder right now and I can't really lift very heavy things at the moment. So I don't know if I'm gonna be able to open this thing. Let's see. I'll try to do it with my right arm. Oh my God. And as you can see, there's a piece of wood in there that I might be able to reach that I can use to keep this open without decapitating me. I did buy new struts, so I'll slide those out, put new ones in. That might be one of the first things I do, but that should go in and out really easily. All right, so there you have it. That's everything that we have to deal with here. Ultimately, I'm not sure if it was a great idea or a terrible idea to buy this vehicle. I'm kind of leaning towards terrible considering I have no idea what I'm doing. I know nothing about these vehicles, but I think we can figure it out. Luckily, it's not overheating, knock on wood, it's not on fire, and it seems like everything here is relatively easy to fix. So I think my plan of action for the next couple of videos on this vehicle is to tackle a few of the easier things, like the tailgate. Hopefully I can swap out those struts pretty easily, swap in some new taillights, do a deep clean of this interior, and then I guess I'll get to the difficult one of trying to figure out how to get this thing to stay running for more than like 3 seconds. You'd think I would do that first, but no, I think I'm going to procrastinate a little bit and tackle some of the easy things first. All right, so stay tuned for the next video with this extremely beige machine where I will try to fix some stuff and probably fail spectacularly. If you like this video and you want to see more like it, please consider subscribing and hitting that bell icon. If you'd like to help support the show, please buy a Hello Road t-shirt or hat at helloroad.tv/shop. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you're well, and I'll see you soon.